To people when they thought police take them away.
I don't think she got taken away from them.
No, it was like a thing.
I think they're just separated or something.
Yeah, because
they didn't.
He
have
doesn't
that
know.
many
All
kids.
he knows is like she was taken away, and so he has no idea what actually happened to her.
But
So
but back to the thought police. Nobody knows what happens besides the people who
Like,
are
they
like
might not even be
executed
killed.
publicly.
Yeah. They're just gone.
and those are people not even from their like town or like city. I don't even know what the correct term is. Like those are people from the outside and from the rebellion, and those are people they brought in, and that's their little glimpse of the outside world. So like they really don't know what actually happens to the people that are they're there with there. All right, so now we're in the second part of our little podcast about rhetorical analysis, and we're going to read a little section of the book and rhetorically analyze it for you. So take it away, Gwen.
All right, this is 1984, page 97. It could not have been 10 seconds, and yet it seemed a long time that their hands were clasped together. He had time to learn every detail of her hand. He explored the long fingers, the shapely nails, the work-hardened palm with its row of calluses, the smooth flesh under the wrist. Merely from feeling it, he would have known it by sight. In the same instant, it occurred to him that he did not know what color the girl's eyes were. They were probably brown, but people with dark hair sometimes had blue eyes. To turn his head and to look at her would have been inconceivable. Folly. With hands locked together, invisible among the press of bodies, they stared steadily in front of them, and instead of the eyes of the girl, the eyes of the aged prisoner gazed mournfully at Winston out of nests of hair.
So the speaker for this passage would be Winston.
Sounds good.
Yep. So the occasion or context, so it's basically he is in the middle of a crowd, and but not supposed to kind of, I guess, know each other at all.
Right.
They just made a plan to meet, and they're holding hands.
Yep.
How cute.
And they're looking at the prisoners that came from like Eurasia or East Asia.
How romantic. Isn't that just so romantic?
Yeah. This is also like the first time that they like had a chance to like almost talk since like she like slipped him the note like.
Well,
they talked in the cafeteria, but this is the first time that they weren't like.
It's the first time they really touched hands.
Or like actually like kind of like made contact, because when they were in the cafeteria they had to be like super like censored, but this time they could actually like almost say what they wanted to say at this point.
So the audience for this?
The readers.
The readers. So the purpose, what is the intention of this passage? I guess it's almost to kind of show how much he doesn't know about her yet, just to outline that in excruciating detail.
I think it's also just to show like how like controlled and like conservative their society is, where like holding hands is like such a big deal, where like we like people today think nothing of it really.
So the subject, we kind of already did that a little bit, but yeah, just kind of them kind of meeting, really connecting for the first time, and that part of their society is kind of bad.
You can also begin to see signs of that, like maybe Winston also loves her back, because he's like seeing every detail of her hand, and like that's just like some small thing that he's able to like centralize his focus on of her, and like you really don't do that if you don't like that person.
And it's like one of the only things he like actually knows about her is like, oh, I know what her hand feels, but I don't know her name or what her eyes look like or anything else.
Okay, so for the tone for this?
Sad.
Yeah, but it seems almost kind of peaceful, like he said, like it could have been 10 seconds, but it seemed like a long time, like it was just kind of like a frozen moment in time, like, is this really happening? And
there was definitely
we might not ever get to do that again.
Yeah, there was definitely like a tone shift from like the super suspenseful to like this like tiny moment of bliss, and then back to like suspenseful after if you continue reading.
It's also like sad because like he's like, oh, I can't even like turn and like look at her and like see what her eyes are, like how sad is that? And then but like the eyes that he can see are of the prisoner, which is and the prisoner is sad.
Yeah, like that kind of enhances the mystery of who she is, like just the fact that he doesn't even know what she looks like really. Like
it could also be like foreshadowing that like Winston can become a prisoner, or that Winston like feels like a prisoner.
So for Winston's ethos, I mean, I feel like it's kind of more poignant because of the lack of ethos that they have, because they're really kind of I don't want it like subjugated in this society, and this is their act of rebellion. So like that just makes this whole passage and moment a little more powerful. Their lack of ethos.
Mm-hmm.
What about Logos?
I think it's like you kind of see the logic in Winston's thought when like he goes through and like he only like is taking this like one piece of detail about her, and that's like the only thing he really knows about her, and how once they've been separated, like how he like thinks to himself logically like, okay, I know the like the imprint of her hand, but I don't know the color of her eyes or anything else about her, and like it's just like you said, like he knows like the color of the eyes of that prisoner that he saw, but not even the girl that just told him that he loves him. So it's just, it kind of plays on your pathos, and you just kind of like really feel for Winston at this point.
Yeah, like I think it's like really logical. Like he doesn't like the very few details that he knows about her. Like he's gonna like memorize them and like never forget them.
Yeah, like you said, pathos really lends to this because it kind of is illogical, and that does lend to the pathos. Makes you feel like kind of bad for him because he couldn't really have known anyone like this in this manner, even though he did have a wife, but I guess they didn't really love each other that
You
much.
really would call her a wife.
So this style is it's a very descriptive paragraph.
I also feel like it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Like it's just like describing a hand and then like the eyes of the prisoner and how like sad he is that he doesn't know like the color of her eyes.
It's a good example of George Orwell's writing and how straightforward and to the point he is also. So arrangement.
So it kind of goes from like talking about how it's 10 seconds and their hands were clasped together, and then it talks like everything about it, which is cool. And then that kind of makes him think about the eyes, and then how he couldn't look at her, but he could look at the prisoner and his eyes, which was sad.
Yeah, it's just like what he does know to what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
To what he does know, the prisoner's eyes, and then you realize, oh, he really doesn't know anything. Like the next chapters is going to be like him trying to find out what the heck's going on.
Because he doesn't know anything about the situation or like anything about the girl. He's just kind of like there.
You can obviously like the stream of consciousness and like how he's